Welcome to CGTN, I'm Yuan. It's one of the greatest works of Chinese art of all time, a panorama of rivers and mountains. It's a landscape painting from the 12th century of sweeping scale, rich coloration, and expressive details. It's the only surviving work of artist Wang Ximeng of the 12th century of the Northern Song Dynasty. The artist died when he was 23, but he was a prodigy who created this painting at the age of only 18. The painting is in the permanent collection of the Palace Museum in Beijing, but through various presentations by means of digital, multimedia, interactive experience, spatial displays, and physical displays, a digital scroll of the masterpiece is making its debut in Macau at the Macao Museum of Art. And joining me today in this live stream is Mr. Shan Kai-sheng, Vice President of the Cultural Affairs Bureau of Macau SAR. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hello.
Hello. So a big day, a debut of a digital version of a panorama of rivers and mountains. You're an artist yourself, not just a government official. How do you feel? Talk us through the painting. I mean, we have a replica here, don't we? Let's go take a look.
Okay. This painting is one of the kind of paintings, Chinese painting, because as we know in China, in the Chinese painting, this consists of by flower and birds and figures and landscape. Landscape is not. We can say this is a landscape painting. It's not only the how to say, only the natural views. It needs the heart, the reflection.
Right.
When artists who watch or how to say, not only watch and then they must reflect.
Reflect upon the real life.
Yeah.
And everything. Landscape is a popular genre of Chinese painting, right? But every symbol, so to speak, in a painting actually represents something in real life, don't they?
It also transmits how is the thinking of the artist. So when we look or when we read the Chinese painting, we can feel the history, the situation, the real life about the real life of the artist.
Right.
So and now the panorama of river and mountain today we are going to see, and then first of all it is no identify size to let somebody knows who is the artist.
Okay, so we don't know for sure who the artist is?
Yes, but we just study some words or some Chinese character, and then from this part we only how to make some study, and finally we find who is the author of this painting.
This is all a bit mysterious to us, sir. So shall we? This is actually a quite rare look at even the replica of the painting, because like we talked about before, it's one of China's top 10 works of art of all time. So it's kept in secret in the Palace Museum and nobody can watch it. Is that so?
No, but we can see this painting in every textbook about the Chinese art.
But the original work is kept away at the...
But now the original work is very weak because it's past. It has about 900 years old. So this painting was painted on the seal. So the seal is very weak.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can see then this is the calligraphy made by the king of Qianlong. Okay, and then we can identify this painting was storage on the Forbidden City for for long years, so many years.
So just so our audience know what a rare opportunity they're getting, even this replica, they don't usually show it to the public. Is that right?
Yeah. Because this copy is very, very close to the original things. So encoding the color, encoding the Chinese ink, encoding the structure, or encoding the representation, something like that, is very close to the original one.
Right. Sir, we talked about how this is a work of sweeping scale. I don't even know how to begin to show this to our audience, but if our cameraman could just come here and sort of give our audience a general feeling of how long this piece of work is 12 meters. And this is a 1-by-1 copy of the original work, right?
Yeah. So we can see. Usually, this scroll, when we read Chinese scroll, and then we from left to right.
It's interesting that you use the word read, sir, because you don't look at Chinese paintings; you read them.
Because read is to understand. Mm-hmm. Understand not only to see or to find this is beautiful or not, but we for somebody who studied the Chinese art, and then we wish to know, or we hope to know what is the story mm-hmm. besides the painting,
right.
And we can identify so many things through one image or one picture or something like that. This is our major to do this, because we can find something. So as you know, this is the house, a small house, mm-hmm. but it's a normal house, and then it can show you what is the architectural style in the Song Dynasty. Mm-hmm. So this is the knowledge comes from one image. So this is the way to read something.
It's like photos from back when they didn't have photography.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but as we know, you can see from left to right, mm-hmm. but the mountain is very small.
Right.
The mountain is very small, and then it's coming. It is the introduction of the one landscape painting, and later, and then we can see the gradual rise. So it lies the Chinese composition on the one text, and then this is in the beginning. This is an introduction, and then we can see the gradual rise, and then we can see the development or something, and later, and then we can see the climax, and then right. We can see the fall, and then it means that you can find this picture has rhythm.
Right.
So somebody will think the artist must was born in how to say the family who likes the arts and literature very much, okay. And then we can feel the rhythm or some feeling about the music or something like that.
This is all very interesting to me, because I'm no expert in art, right? And I read somewhere, I'm not sure if this is right, if you can correct me, that you used the word read also because this is a scroll. So people would open it from left to right and just look at different sections of a painting. I've never looked at a painting by sections before, but this 12-meter long painting is divided into 6 sections, as we can see. And I do want to go over them one by one with you, sir, because I was reading the text on the wall. Okay. And this is very well explained. So if we look at this first section of this painting here, this is the prologue.
Prologue or introduction or something like that.
Right.
The opening section of the scroll begins with the descending short mountains as a prologue. And then it means that it's very small, mm-hmm. and like a song, and then right. It's very small, the sound is very small, then later it's very high or something like that. This is the rhythm.
It's so interesting that you actually compared it to music.
But actually we can feel the musical feelings over here.
Right, the rhythm, the up and down, the rise and fall of the landscape of the mountains. And then that brings us to gradual rise, which is the second section of this enormous painting.
Yeah, the second section is mostly composed of the shallow mountains gathering together in rich shapes, and with some towering upright, some cliff and winding, or some imposing. Yeah.
And some standing out charmingly. The mountains in the middle of the group are taller, serving as the center of this section. So I think they're talking about these mountains, which almost occupy, 2/3 of the canvas, right?
Yeah. Okay, now we can see this is the beach, and then this beach is connected with two islands or two village or something like that. And then from here we can know what is the view, or what is
what it looked like.
What's it look like or in the Song Dynasty. But I think we can see the ships, or this is for the fishing ships or something like that.
I think you're also supposed to see people in this painting, don't you? But there's supposed to be tiny figures, ant-like figures in this painting. I haven't spotted any. Oh, yeah. Let's go see this one. Look how tiny that person is on the boat.
Sometimes they are floating the boat on the lake or the river, and then also we can see the travelers over there. So this is showing the real life about the Song Dynasty.
So we're looking at the third section of a panorama of rivers and mountains, which is a section called Development. So I'm just reading the text which describes this section on the wall. It says mountains in this section gradually reach higher and higher, with the tallest standing at 4/5 of the scroll's height and forming a clear center. The mountains are connected to those above and below each other to form mountain ranges, while they meander in echo of those to their left and right, forming an endless and expensive mountain topography. Wonderful. And with that, we come to the climax of this painting.
The climax of this part is most rich and brilliant section of this scroll. So we can see that this is the main mountains of this scroll.
It certainly got the highest mountain in this whole painting.
Yeah.
What do you think these mountains are symbols of?
It is like an emperor gloriously raging on his throne.
Oh, so the tallest one is supposed to be a symbol of the emperor, like we talked about it before. Everything symbolizes something in ancient Chinese paintings.
Yes, as we know, in the inscription in the end of this scroll, and then we can look something, we can see something that this artist was educated by the king of the Song Dynasty.
Himself.
Yeah. So the emperor is also considered as the best painter one of the best painters of the Song Dynasty, because his figures painting or the flower and birds is very famous in the art history of China.
Okay, so let's come this way.
So you can see this is this is like the emperor gloriously raging on his throne. This is the symbol of the.
This is the symbol of the emperor.
Yeah. So we can, when we think about it or reflect it, he is the disciple of the king, and then the emperor, and then it is very important.
And so are the surrounding mountains supposed to be the emperor's subjects? Yeah. And they're kind of protecting and bowing down to the emperor. Wonderful.
So do you like to see how about the emperor's skill?
Yes, let's come see the emperor's work. Emperor Huizong of the Northern Song Dynasty.
Yeah. Okay. You can see, and then the emperor. This is the emperor himself.
Oh, this is a self-portrait kind of?
It's auto portrait. He is his assistant.
Right.
So.
Ministers, government officials, maybe?
Yes. So you can see this pine tree is very, very detailed, and then it shows the higher skill for painting of the emperor.
What does it say about his characters? Because you also said that you can tell the artist's character from their paintings, from their works of art, right? What did this one tell you?
This showed the king and the ministers also have some opportunity to hear the music or something like that. So as you know that in the Song Dynasty is considered as the highest level of development in terms of art and style of living or something like that is very, very famous in the Chinese history. So this reflected the emperor also liked lifestyle and liked the art very much, and also can share the music, want to share the great opportunity with the ministers or somebody like that.
Right. So, sir, let's go back to the panorama of rivers and mountains. We have 2 more chapters left.
Yeah.
But I do want to go see the digital version of it before we're done with this live stream, because that's the big draw here, right?
Yeah.
The exposition.
So, and this part is the fifth part of this scroll, and then this is the part of fall.
This is the second last part called the fall.
Yeah.
And here the painting gradually returns to tranquility as the overall mountain topography recedes. It forms a falling trend until some mountains on the left reach slightly higher, after which the topography rapidly drops off and continues meandering across the scroll. So it's kind of a symmetric with the beginning of this painting as well, right?
Yeah. But so, as you know, now we can see the river. The river is very long, and then we can see some street on the earth of the mountains, but the mountain is not very high. And then this is the way to reaching the closing part of the scroll. And then in the end of the scroll, and then we can see a mountain, and sometimes is a little bit higher and higher and higher, but in the end, and then stop. It's okay. This is we can feel the rhythm of this.
It's almost like a music.
Yeah, like music. Yeah.
And this is also kind of like the beginning of this painting, right?
Yeah. This is the reflection.
Reflection.
Reflection is the reflection to the opening part of this scroll.
What did the artist use to make this painting? Because the color is so rich.
So we call this is the blue and green landscape painting.
Okay, so it actually has got a name called the blue and green landscape painting because the color stands out so much.
Show the color is blue and green, and this is not the yellow one because this part is the part of silk.
Right. The color of the silk.
Yeah. So you can feel 3 kinds of colors, all aiding the Chinese ink, and then this very harmony is very pacifical.
And I believe that the colors come from very precious stones, minerals.
Yes, this is the mineral color, so it can lasting so many years. Right. So even it is 900 years old, and then we can feel the shining or.
Still shines like it did
shining like
900 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. So it takes a long process to make this kind of pigment, right? Because the materials that they used are rare even today. Because I read they use clams and tortoise and things like that. Very rare species, expensive materials and things like that.
Yeah,
so,
but also when they making these kind of colors, and then first of all, they went to find on the earth, and at the same time they can purify so many procedures or something like that. It's very valuable.
Right. So, sir, one more thing before we move to the digital version of this painting is you talked about at the beginning of our program that we almost never found out who the artist of this painting is because there's no artist's seal on this painting, right?
Yeah.
But we found out that Wang Ximeng actually did this painting through this epigraph at the end of the painting. What does this say?
It say that in the year of Zheng He, and then Ximeng was 18 years old.
Right.
And then he studied on the School of Painting. Is
So Royal School of Painting.
Royal School of Painting, and then he was called by the emperor, and then sometimes he paint some small things, but was not
Nothing so impressive.
Yes, and then but the emperor knows that he can be educated as a great artist or something like that.
He's not so good right now, but he's got potential, something like that.
Yeah. So few months later, and then he bought this one to the emperor.
Right. Wow. Okay. So thanks for this piece of text. We know that Ximeng was the artist of this painting.
You can also find this this scroll was how to say was the gift from the emperor to Cai Jing.
Which is an important minister, the very high-level minister of the Northern Song Dynasty under Emperor Huizong, right?
Yeah. So this is come from the beginning of the life of these scrolls.
And then very impressive painting. And I think later generation artists actually called this the soul moon within stars, right? So that's the kind of the level of achievement.
So I think when you read some Chinese painting, then you can find from some words of some Chinese characters, and you can find the information over this painting,
right?
Including how he made, who is the first collector or something like that, and then we can identify who's the first collector or something like that.
Do we still get to see the digital exhibition?
And I think now they are finishing.
I think they're wrapping up too. Because it is getting pretty late here. I'm sorry to have kept you here for so long, sir.
They are now testing one more time.
They're testing. So how long is this going to take? 请问这个现在还可以展示吗？等多久大概？ Oh, so it's going to take 8 minutes and 30 seconds for them to 我们大概5分钟10分钟 5 or 10 minutes is all we need. Okay, thank you so much. So they're gonna.
Or maybe you can see this part first.
Maybe we can see. This is a.
Do you know why they do that?
Why they did this?
Yeah.
I think it's just for decoration. No, I don't.
No,
Is there any special?
From this part, you can hear the song, because this part, and then you can touch here. This is for somebody who has a difficulty for reading, for seeing, and this for somebody who can feel what is the
birds chirping and the water coming out of that. So if we move the mic a little bit closer to the amplifier, so you can hear the sound of nature. And then what are some of the other things on display here?
We also can hear the waterfall or something like that.
Right, that's the waterfall too. And then what's this supposed to be? This one is birds.
Yeah.
It's one type of bird's chirp.
The bamboo. This part is the bamboo, so you can
So different sounds coming out of each one of these amplifiers?
Yes, yes.
And this is a different type of bird, I think. It's different from that one that I just heard. And this is supposed to be residents, right? I think I hear kids playing. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some people.
Residential houses.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. That's livestock. That's a goat.
So and then this part, we can make the painting with songs or something like that, and for
So
somebody
who
who
will come alive.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's virtual or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is back on.
Yeah. So this part is the digital version of the panorama of river and mountain.
Right. And then I want to bring in another guest here. Can you? I heard him explaining to some audience about this interactive design here.
He was the guy.
So yeah, I'm just gonna drag you into our show. I don't care. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing right now. 给我们讲讲这边的这个我们看到的这个数码版的3.0版的这个千里雕山图。
我们现在看到的这一版本是有原画大概将近100倍的大小。为什么说100？因为原画是长11.9米，然后高大概是0.5米。现在我们看到的是近100米的长卷，所以按照这样计算的话，它有原画将近120倍的一个大小。那这幅画最大的特点是，它按照原作者王希孟作者本人的笔触还有神韵，大概有100多位动画师画了将近半年的时间，把原作当中的600多座山体，还有200多艘船只，加上近500多个人物，还有动物，都完全还原成了现在全动态的效果。
Give me a minute just to translate this because it's a lot of numbers. 我先来翻译一下，600多座山 more than 600 mountains, and then how many people? 500 some?
500.
More than 500 people, and what?
200 boats.
200 boats. Wow. And it took how many artists?
About around 100 artists.
100 artists took them 6 months
Yeah.
to recreate all of this
对
and turn it into like a 3D kind of presentation.
它最大的特点是，如果当时宋代假如说有3D CG 动画技术的话，王希孟所画出来的就是各位现在看到的样子。
He said if they had the 3D technology back in Song Dynasty, this would have been Wang Ximeng's work.
而且这幅画最大的特点有别于国内其他所有的动态长卷，是它是一幅可以跟观众对话并且有自己生命的长卷。
So he said what makes this so special, another reason that makes this one so special is that it can actually hold a conversation with the viewers and it's got a life of its own. How? Show us.
在这幅长卷里面，在这幅长卷里面，第一个最显著的特点就是我们可以非常清晰地看到当时1000多年前的宋代的一天当中的24小时。
We can see the 24 hours within a day back in the Song Dynasty. So, for example, this is one.
在24小时当中，我们分为了5个时间段，分别是从日出、清晨、雨季、黄昏，还有夜晚5个时间段。所以我们现在看到其中黄昏时间段，那
This is at dusk.
每一个时间段，画作都会根据当前观众做出的任何的动作，画面当中都会有相应的回馈。也就是说，这幅画会根据
Really?
Yeah, really. 这幅画会根据你的动作来和你对话。
Okay, so it's gonna talk to me by seeing the kind of body language that I'm. So, for example, what can I do? How do I talk to it? Okay, I can wave and say hello, maybe. Hello.
因为现在正在测试。
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
they're testing it, so it might.
Live.
Oh.
然后有更多的惊喜是类似于现在的自然景观，包括可能会突然出现烟花，然后会有鸟群，还有孔明灯。但是我们只是举一个例子，因为画面当中有太多的 不同的对话会出现在这里。
So there might be lanterns. So there might be lanterns. There might be what did you say again? Boats, leaves, birds popping out of the picture. Okay, so let's go check out some of the other parts of this painting. Sorry, I forgot to ask you to introduce yourself to our audience. 你叫什么名字？然后你的单位是？
刘小斌，凤凰数字科技设计中心策划部。
They're 刘小斌 with 凤凰 and what's this section and how is it different from the one that we just saw?
我们现在刚好看到了夜晚，所以在夜晚当中我们会有一些特别的东西比如说孔明灯，比如说烟花，只要在有人的地方很可能就会出现烟花，但这就是这幅图随机的魅力所在。
Okay, so it might randomly pop up something. So this is nighttime that we're seeing right now, so there might be firework. Let's see how lucky I am. So what are some of the other things that I can do to it? 我还可以跟它怎么样互动，做一些什么样的动作？
我们可以看到这个墙面上有形、游、望、居4个部分，也是我们按照原画当中北宋人的生活状态所分为的4个状态，也就是行走、游历、观望还有居住。
So we can see the 4 sections on the wall. The first one is to move, the other one is to travel, and then the third one here is to see, and then the fourth one is to live. And that's how ancient people lived, the kind of a philosophy that they went by. And we're seeing lanterns here.
Yeah.
Got very lucky.
很可能画面只是感应到了你刚才某一个动作，就会出现孔明灯。
Okay, Mr. Liu said maybe the computer, the AI behind it, sensed kind of one movement that I did. That's why they showed us these lanterns. Wonderful. And then is the third section going to surprise us? 第3个这边它会再给我们一些惊喜吗？
我们可以在这边看到，这是游 travel 的这个区域。
This is the travel section.
那我们可以所以画面一定
Wow. We're very lucky tonight.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
You can't control it, right? It senses the kind of body movement that you do, and it decides kind of what kind of things that they want to surprise you, that it wants to surprise you with.
Sure.
他想给你什么样的惊喜，就要给你什么样的惊喜。
We can't control that.
Right.
Yeah.
我们又看到灯笼了，哎呦，好美。
所以这幅画当中，在现场才能真正感受到这幅特别的盛世长卷的魅力。
Yeah, exactly. I think the camera is not going to show you as much as what we're feeling right now standing here. So it's almost like we're standing inside of this painting. 就像站在画里一样。现在，好，我们时间也差不多了，我们最后去看一眼第4个 section. Okay, the last one. We're running out of time as well, so we're gonna check out the 4th section of this very impressive, enormous digital scroll of the panorama of rivers and mountains.
我们可以看到《千里江山图》其实有非常多的隐藏在画卷当中的东西，它不像《清明上河图》有非常清晰的人物，但是我们在大自然当中可以看到有将近500多个动物跟人物都隐藏在我们整个的大宋王朝中。
So Mr. Liu told us that there are many expressive but minute details in this painting called the Panorama of Rivers and Mountains. So, for example, look at these small figures right here. These are what appeared in the original painting, but amplified by 100 times. 这个是放大了100倍的人，所以你就想那个画家当时在画的时候 ，so you can you can imagine how tiny, how ant-like the figures actually are in the original painting.
而且最有意思的是，这些人并不是单纯的动画，他们真实的生活在这个画作当中。观众所做的动作，画作所给予的反馈，很可能就是来自于画作当中的这些人。
Some of the feedbacks that this interactive scroll, that this digital scroll is gonna give you, might actually come from these little figurines inside this painting. Wow. So, so tonight is the debut. 今天晚上是一个这个见面礼，对不对？ How long is this show gonna last? 这个展的话会
到明年3月份。
明年3月份 So it's gonna last until March next year. So a couple more months to come and enjoy this spectacular digital display of one of China's most important paintings. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Liu.
Thank you.
And with that, we also conclude the live stream for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.